Chapter 276 The Virgin Tanjiro who suffers from evil consequences. Irely not allowed to attack innocent civilians. Tanjiro Zaoman roared with anger. Okay. Another virgin-like existence. Hawkeye and Zoro were too lazy to pay attention to the useless little waste in front of them. Because they have used seeing and hearing domineering spirit. I sense the strength of Tanjiro Sawaman. A guy like this, 250. Zoro rarely plays a team alone. It's simply weak. He is not worthy of letting him take action at all. That silly virgin heart of Tanjiro, the sauceman. It also aroused the disgust of both. Mr. Mihawk are really going to help this idiot this trip? Zoro asked with annoyance. This is the highest order issued by His Majesty Yu. We must clear these ghosts and clear out all possible obstacles for the entry of the large troops behind us. Hawkeye first found an empty seat to sit down. Then he said in a plain tone. Forget it, let's leave it to you guys of this level to deal with it yourself. But have we brought the weapons we designated? Ah, you guys are. Tanjiro Kaoru was stunned at first. Then he realized it. I learned about the identities of the two. It was Yu who sent him to help Ghost Killing Team sweep away the special combat power of Gui Wuyi and his subordinates' 12 Ghost Moons. No wonder I felt such a powerful chi from the two of them. But this kind of guy who even ordinary people can attack. No matter how you look at it, you don't look like a good person. Tanjiro Kaoru is already in his heart. Equivalent to Hawkeye and Zoro and Yu's cold-blooded guy. Weapons are here. Tanjiro Kazunoman hero knife retracted the sheath. Then he raised his hand and threw the Harak killing team specially created for Hawkeye and Zoro. He said with a vigilant face. I don't care who you two are, but as long as I am here, I will never let you continue to hurt these innocent civilians. Puff. He hasn't finished speaking yet. I felt something was stabbed on my feet. Severe pain came. Tanjiro Kaoru looked down quickly. But he found a girl with a double ponytail with her right arm cut off. He actually picked up the dagger with his left hand. Punched into his right leg. The blood flowed down unstoppably. I don't need your protection. The girl with a pair of ponytails crawled up from the ground with a ferocious face. And retreated to the side of three companions who woke up one after another. He screamed hysterically. No matter whether you are the pillar of the ghost killing team or someone, as long as you can kill you a few, I can have a dream from that adult. Don't be stunned by 3.9, don't do it with me. Otherwise that big guy will definitely not let us enter the dream again. The girl with a pair of ponytails rescued by Tanjiro Kawaman. Not only does it mean to repent on his face. Instead, he bewitched the other three people. Take action with her. Chapter 277 The real goal of Hawkeye and Zoro. Hawkeye and Zoro took over the Hydra knife. Then he ignored everyone opposite him. The two of them didn't care about Tanjiro's life and death at all. A guy like this. If it were placed in their world. The grave grass is already more than 2 meters high. It is not worth even a trace of sympathy. It is the Hydra killing team created by Demon Killing Team. It aroused the deep curiosity of the two swordsmen. This is not a good weapon. It can actually kill the ghost that cannot be eliminated even Black Knife and Night. When 04 is really magical. And just as Hawkeye and Zoro carefully checked the Hydra knife. The stabbed Tanjiro Kawaman was not only not angry. Instead, he stared at the 4 young men opposite him with a sad face, who were as ferocious as evil ghosts. But what he hated now was not the 4 people opposite. But the ghost that has been hiding in the dark. Damn it, I absolutely cannot forgive this ghost. I dare to take the opportunity to confuse people and make so many people bewitched. Tanjiro Zaoman seemed to have made some decision in his mind. A look of determination appeared on his face. Then he looked at the 4 people holding weapons on the opposite side and said. I'm sorry everyone, I have to leave here and fight immediately. After saying that, Tanjiro of the Sauceman rushed forward. He raised his hand and knocked all 4 teenagers, including the 2 pony-tailed girl, out of nowhere. You want to stay in the dream of happiness, I understand all these. Actually, I really want to stay in my dream. If this is how great is the dream. After Tanjiro Zaoman muttered a few words. Then he turned his head and looked at Hawkeye and Zoro, who ignored him. A heavy tone warned. I know your strength is very strong, and it is also Yu the swordsman sent by Mr. to help us ghost-killing team. But I still want to warn you that our ghost-killing team has extremely strict bans. No matter what the reason, we must not attack ordinary people, even if they are ghost helpers. So, I hope that during the time I left I will ask you two to keep this precept in mind so as not to have any unpleasant things happen to Demon Slayer. He was afraid that during the period when he left here to look for ghosts, Hawkeye and Zoro attacked the 4 teenagers again. But Tanjiro Zaoman is still too 250 to look at his face and strength. Hawkeye and Zoro on the opposite side. There was no intention of paying attention to him at all. They are all there. I was familiar with the Hydroop knife in my hand. Not to mention a newcomer like him. Even the Yan Pillar Purgatory Apricot, who is sleeping in a deep sleep at this moment. Not necessarily Zoro's opponent. Not to mention Hawkeye, who has the title of the world's #1, the swordsman. And Kizaru sent 2 people to come here. Actually 4. Not just one of the lower strings in the 12 ghost moons. Chapter 278 Tanjiro's Holding. The real goal of Hawkeye and Zoro's trip. Actually it appeared in Yu's reminder. The ghost of fighting, Akazo, who is ranked among the 12 ghost moons 3 of the wind strings. Although it is judging from the news from Demon Killing Team headquarters. There was no news about Akaza. But whether it is Kizaru or Hawkeye, everyone is convinced of Yu's words. It is precisely because of this. Only after the 2 of them verified that ghost cannot be killed with ordinary weapons. Let nightmare dreams be ignored again. After all, small characters like this. Let's leave it to Ghost Killing Team to deal with it. When Tanjiro Kaoru met the 2 people opposite him, he ignored him at all. I was so angry that my teeth were itchy. But now it has reached an urgent point. Immediately pull Nezuko's hand. Sniffing the breath of nightmare and running towards the carriage ahead. What a strong smell. Just opened the small door between the connecting cars. Tanjiro Zaoman was shocked by a strong aura. So heavy, in such a strong wind, the smell of this ghost is still so strong. And I can actually fall asleep in this state. Although the carriage is indeed a confined space, such a low-level mistake is still unacceptable. If I could have noticed this smell earlier, Mr. Purgatory and everyone would not have been in such a dangerous situation. I'm really useless. Tanjiro Kaoru showed an extremely self-ruleful look on his face. But then he stuck his head out. Continue to find the location of that ghost. The smell came from the upper wind as that ghost on the top of the car in front. Nezuko, don't follow me. It's very dangerous outside. Stay inside and wake everyone up also, don't let those 2 men hurt ordinary civilians anymore. After a few words of brisk words, Tanjiro Zaoman gave a few words. Then he turned over and jumped to the top of the car. Then he chased after the smell of nightmare. You're awake. Good morning. How great would it be if you continue to be so sanitized? Yanmeng watched Tanjiro, who rushed all the way to his side. There was no surprise on his face. No way. Now the entire infinite train has been integrated by him. Every move inside. It can be said that it all takes place within his body. Naturally, it is extremely clear. Damn itis all this the hell of you guys. Alas. Tanjiro Zaoman looked like he was facing a great enemy, Lee's. His hands were also pressed on the hilt of the Hydroop knife. Staring at the morbid guy opposite. Don't dare to take action rashly. Why are you waking up? I've made you dream of such a great dream. If I had a little bad intention, I could have you dream of being killed by a guy. Do you want to dream like that? Chapter 279 Nightmare vs Tanjiro. Probably not. After all, even I feel that kind of dream is too painful. Yanmeng showed a gloating smirk on her face. Staring at Tanjiro Kaoru opposite, he continued. So this time, I'll let you dream of your father's resurrection. I actually like the process of making you become a demon after dreaming of happiness. My favorite thing is to see humans' distorted expressions because of pain, which really makes people feel that they can't. Looking at the poor 250 guys who were severely defeated by misfortune, in great pain and struggling desperately, I find it very interesting. But, I will never be careless even if I have to spend a little more effort. I will indeed kill you, ghost hunters, and the two hateful swordsmen just now. Quote. You should have discovered that the ink for printing the ticket is actually mixed with my blood. As long as the flight attendant tries the ticket and leaves a gap when checking the ticket, the corresponding operation will be automatically activated. This is a long-distance technique. Although it is a bit troublesome to do, it is the least easy technique to be noticed. In my opinion, something important is not noticed. Everything was real before humans could sense the dream, but it's strange that why did you suddenly wake up? A look of doubt appeared on Yan Meng's face. Staring at Tanjiro Kaoru continued. It is obviously not so easy to realize the conditions of consciousness in such a short time. I want to dream of happiness, dream of beauty that I want to have. Humans' expectations in this regard are obviously so strong. Nightmare mocks himself like a mocking moan. It directly aroused the anger in the heart of Tanji Aedj Lang. It is obviously the most soft person in his heart. At the same time, it also has a private space that hides fragility and secrets. How can I be casual? Just destroy and tamper with it. Bastard, don't break into other people's hearts without authorization. I will definitely can't spare you. The furious Tanjiro Kawaman directly pulled out his sword. Open black lens bracket water breathing, picking shape, and flowing close black lens bracket. A blue water dragon flowed out from the hydroop knife. Rotating and swaying. He roared towards the nightmare opposite. There seemed to be earrings on his ears that Lord Wujian had signaled. I'm really lucky, right? Although I didn't meet the handsome man who killed Tired, I didn't expect to meet another newcomer so soon. And I came here myself, it was like sitting in a beautiful dream. In this way, as long as I kill him and that pillar, I will be able to obtain more blood given by Lord Wujian. Then after I become stronger, I can ask to participate in the bloody battle to replace other winding ghosts. Chapter 280 Yu is a very handsome newcomer. When Yanmeng saw the decorative sign on Tanjiro's ear, a hint of joy suddenly appeared on his face. Although it is not the first place Yu, the one who is on the list of kills listed by Guiwu Wusun. But it is also a big gain. So, Nightmare does not dodge or avoid it. Facing the offensive, he raised his hand and recited Virus Technique. Open black lens bracket forced lethargy hypnosis whispers close black lens bracket. This time, Yanmeng actually planned to use the accusations and ignorance of Tanjiro's family. Come to Tanjiro's choices and actions. However, the boy holding the sun sword opposite. But I have already mastered the fastest way to break my dreams. So, once, twice, 5 times. Tanjiro Zaoman only enters a dream every time. It will be at the fastest speed. In a slight stagnation. Then he immediately recovered from awakening. That's right. This teenager who was completely angry. Use your self-destruction again and again to constantly awaken yourself. He can't tolerate anyone. An insult to his family. Why is it invalid for him? Why is it like this? No, it's not invalid. This guy actually hit my technique every time. But the moment I was cast, I realized that I was hit and took action to stay awake. Even if it's in a dream, but self-reliance. Such things are equivalent to killing yourself. How could anyone do so simply? Yanmeng was really scared by the boy in front of him. Before this, he has never seen anyone who escapes his dreams by using such a method. This kid is even more like a ghost than his ghost. Bastard, no matter how much you can control your dreams, my family will never be able to say that kind of thing. I don't allow you, the bastard, to insult my family. Tanjiro's body kept spinning while rushing forward. And every time the rotation The power of water breath is also increased a little. Just the moment when Yan Meng was stunned, Tanjiro Kaoru raised his hand and fell down his knife. He actually cut off Yan Meng's head with one blow. However, a nightmare dream that was strengthened by ghost dance. How could there be only such a skill? 0. The one who was just scratched by Tanjiro Kaoru was not his body at all. As early as the four of them fell asleep for the first time. That is when Hawkeye and Zoro appeared. Nightmare has been integrated with Infinite Train, and will be distributed in each carriage of the train humans. All were treated as his food and hostage. This allows you to fully kill members of Pillar and other Ghost Kill team. That adult said. Just when Tanjiro Zaoman was shocked. Nightmare's head slowly spoke. Kill all the new guys who are very handsome and easy to recognize and Pillar in you with earrings. Chapter 281, can attach armed colors. While talking, Yan Meng's head actually fused with the cell's meat that suddenly grew from the top of the car. Looking at the astonished expression on Tanjiro Kawaman's face, Nightmare said proudly. The expression on your face is really great. What I want to see the most is your expression, ha ha ha. I clearly cut off my head. 250, why can't I die? I guess you want to hear me give me some reason. And the guy who smashed me in an instant just now must be thinking about this question. Okay, I'm very excited now and I'm in a very good mood. I'll tell you all this. Actually, this principle is very simple. The reason why you can't kill me is because my original body has long disappeared. Even the one you are talking to now is not. Although it has the shape of a head, it is not the real head. During the time you were lying and sleeping, I had already merged with this infinite train. Everything in this train has become my blood and meat, and even my bones. From your current expression, I must really understand what I said. In other words, the more than 200 passengers sitting on this train have all become food that can strengthen my body, and they are also my hostages to check and balance your ghost-killing team. Can you protect them by yourself? This train is densely packed with so many innocent passengers. Will you hand them all to my hands with confidence? As the words fell. It's not waiting for Tanjiro to take action at the sauceman. Yan Meng's figure had already merged into the carriage. It completely disappeared into the dark cold wind. What to do? I can only protect passengers in 2 cars at the same time at most. No matter how many I have, I cannot guarantee everyone's safety. Mr. Purgatory, Zenyi, Inosuke, don't continue to sleep, get rid of it, wake up quickly. Nezuko, you must protect those who are sleeping. After coming to his senses, Tanjiro, the sauceman, ran to the carriage behind him, calling loudly 0. And at this moment in the carriage behind, Nezuko is using her vampire technique to awaken Hirai, Inosuke and others. Swish 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 swish. Swish 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 swish. Zoro grabbed a hydroop knife. The dark, armed color domineering tangled up. Waving the hand. 3.9 flashes of cold light flashed. The blood, meat and flesh tissue that grew out of the nightmare dream in the car collapsed in the blink of an eye. Sure enough, the sword in this world can also be used with armed color domineering. Zoro nodded with satisfaction. Then he ignored the blood meat organization growing wildly in other cars. Sit back to Hawkeye. Chapter 282. Please don't take action first. Although Hawkeye and Zoro are both. I have long used seeing and hearing domineering spirit to detect the changes on the entire train. But as long as Nightmare does not disturb them, the two of them had no intention of taking action. After all, at present, these civilians are not the people of the Dragon Empire. The two of them have no selfless hearts of the Virgin Mary like Tanjiro, the Sauvignon. We must save these completely unrelated people. Who told the great Saint Mother Tanjiro of the sauceman to offend them just now? Even though you love to show off so much. Then solve it yourself. 04. Only. If Yan Meng was ungrateful and attacked them both. Whether it's Hawkeye. Still Zoro. Don't mind killing Yan Meng. Nezuko was not idle either. After finding that it seemed that I could not wake up Yuhei, Inosuke and others. I want to protect humans. Use your sharp claws to start destroying the blood meat that grew out of the previous carriage. However, good times did not last long. Soon her legs were wrapped around many touching hands. It's at this moment. A flash of lightning flew past. My wife, Sunyi, in her sleep, actually used thunder breath, one-shaped, thunder blink. Rescued her from the predicament. At the same time, the fire pillar Purgatory Akatsuro at the back also slowly opened his eyes. Finally, he escaped from his dream and woke up. Ah, it seems that when I was taking a nap, there seemed to be a lot of changes here. Just when Purgatory Apricot Shoro pulls out the high wheel knife and prepares to take action. But he noticed Hawkeye and Zoro sitting quietly behind him. The two should have Mr. Jing Yeyu, is it a powerful swordsman sent to assist us demon-killing team? Quote. I really made you laugh. I didn't expect that my pillar would have a ghost. It's really useless to say. If there is a hole here, I'm so ashamed that I want to get in. For the first time we meet, please don't take action first, let me make up for it all here. Hawkeye looked at Purgatory Atsuro. Nodded slightly. It means agreeing. Call. Open black lens bracket Yan breath close black lens bracket opened instantly. The spiral flame slashed away suddenly. Instantly, the carriage in front of him. All the blood meat that keeps growing outward is cut off. Call. Purgatory Apricot Shoro's body turned into a fire. 267 continued to rush towards the carriage ahead. What happened just now? Did that ghost attack Tanjiro, the stove door in the carriage in front? The sudden vibration made people overturned. Just as he was full of surprise and suspicion, Purgatory Apricot's figure had already appeared from the flash of flames. Boy from the stove door. Mr. Purgatory. Please listen to me first. Purgatory Atsushiro interrupted Tanjiro, who wanted to say something to him without saying anything. Then he spoke loudly. Chapter 283 Assigned Tasks. Before I arrived, I swung my sword seriously and successfully cut a lot of times. I think this ghost should take some time to regenerate and recover. The time is tight and the task is heavy, so let me tell you a long story. The train has 8 cars in total. Except for the last section, the 2 powerful swordsmen sent by Mr. Yeyu are located. I will protect the 5 sections in the rear, and the remaining 2 sections will be protected by the yellow boy and your sister in the stove door. And you and the pig-headed boy need to pay attention to the condition of the first 2 cars while tapping out the position of the ghost's neck. Tanjiro Kaoru showed a look of surprise on his face. Then he thought of what Yan Meng said to him when he was on the roof of the car. So his face changed drastically. He quickly spoke. But, this ghost has integrated itself with the entire train. And Mr. Purgatory, since those 2 swordsmen were sent by Yeyu to help us ghost-killing team, why don't they help? Tanjiro, the sauceman, is in his heart. Still dissatisfied with the cold-blooded between Hawkeye and Zoro. So now I heard the assignment of Purgatory Atsushiro. I couldn't help but ask directly. Killing ghost is originally a matter of our ghost kill team, let alone. A serious look appeared on Purgatory Atsuru's face. He leaned over and stared at Tanjiro Kaoru's eyes and said, we ghost killing team at least have to show our strength and value so that we will not be underestimated. As for this ghost, no matter what shape it has become, as long as it is a ghost, it will definitely have a neck. I am here, and I will fight while looking for his key points. You must cheer me up from now on. If you lose face between the leader and the ghost slayer and are looked down upon by those people, don't blame me for punishing you. As the words fell, we don't wait for Tanjiro's response. Purgatory Ainshiro's body turned into a whirlwind of flames again. He returned to the carriage behind. Only the shocked face of Tanjiro was left in a daze and stood there in a daze. Ovary so awesome. It disappeared all of a sudden hungry. As the shaking that just now is the shaking caused by Mr. Purgatory moving at high speed. Whether it is the judgment of the situation or the decision-making speed of making an action plan, it is too fast. I'm afraid this is the reaction of the pillar-level powerhouse. One person is responsible for the entire 5 cars. Tanjiro Kaoru remembered it very quickly. Now is not a good time to be stunned and sigh and admire Yenju. Now they have to hurry up every minute. Just find the location of Yan Meng's neck as soon as possible. Chapter 284 Discover the target. The smell of ghost has become stronger and stronger, and I'm going to hurry up too. Thinking of this, Tanjiro Kaoru climbed up directly from the ground. While rushing forward, loudly follow the action plan. He told Hirai Inosuke, who was still in the carriage. At the same time, he also learned about Yan Meng's guess from Inosuke. Because the wind was too strong, the smell of that ghost was blown away, and it was difficult for me to detect the exact location. Since Inosuke said this, it's definitely not wrong. If it is in the front of the car, it should be near the 267th carriage where coal is stacked. To protect everyone, we have to do something now. While talking, Tanjiro Sato's figure directly climbed onto the roof of the train department. Following behind Inosuke, Yoshihira rushed towards the front of the car. Just here, Inosuke Yoshihira arrived at the front of the car first. A knife light flashed. The roof was directly split. Viagra Ino's help jumped into it. Want to get a first prize. How could I find it in a small AEDJ carriage? Except for a flight attendant who was brainwashed by nightmare. The rest are all blood, meat, tissues grown from nightmare dreams. Swish 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 swish. Swish 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 swish. Countless touches and hands are born horizontally. Although Yohirai Inosuke kept waving his hands, but it still can't match the other party's growth rate. However, at this critical moment of life and death, a water pattern fell from the sky. He directly split the touching hands that trapped Inosuke Yuhei. Open black lens bracket water breath, land type, torsion vortex close black lens bracket. Before blinking, Tanjiro Kaoru cleaned all the touches and hands in front of them. Inosuke, are you okay? I was not saved just now because of you. I know this. Tanjiro Kaoru didn't have time to argue with Hirai Inosuke here. After a few sniffs from the nose, his eyes were immediately attracted by the position under the two of them. This is from below, just below here. The smell of that ghost is very strong. Inosuke, ghost's neck is just below this. Bastard, don't order me. What Inosuke Hiraki most cannot tolerate is that he is regarded as a small enemy by others. But the current situation is in crisis. He jumped high without saying anything. At the same time, both swords were clenched. Open black lens bracket beast breath 2's teeth katakana middle dot blade strike close black lens bracket. Click. Under the fierce offensive, the ground made of steel plate suddenly collapsed. Exposed a huge and large spine connecting the carriage below. Appeared in front of the two of them. It's the bone. It's the bones of the neck. A look of joy appeared on Tanjiro Zaoman's face. Chapter 285 Reality or Dream. Open black lens bracket water breath katakana middle dot 8 type katakana middle dot taito pot close black lens bracket. Tanjiro Kaoru holds a knife in both hands. He slashed hard at the bones in the crack. Top-down slams. It was astonishing as the sound of a waterfall. However, the sharp blade is swung for a moment. He was actually stuck halfway by the sudden bleeding of blood meat tissue. It was completely unable to cut the bones below. At the same time, blood meat is still growing outward. In an instant, the gap that Inosuke just cut out was blocked. He didn't give Tanjiro the sauceman and the others a chance to take action. Damn it, the incision healed so quickly. A look of anger appeared on Tanjiro Kawaman's face. Then he said to the opposite side of Hirai Inosuke. Inosuke, it regenerated too quickly. No one of us alone can cut a fatal blow to him. We cooperated with the breathing method to launch a continuous attack. One person cuts forward meat and the other one cuts off the bone immediately. So that's possible. Inosuke Orihira reacted immediately. He said happily. The method you thought of is very good. I want to praise you. However, Yanmeng also heard the two of them's plans. How could he surrender just like this? Call. Just the moment the two of them had some action. Countless blood meat tissues covered with huge eyes suddenly surged out. No matter which direction it is. No matter which angle it is. There will always be a pupil that can release ghost blood technique in forced sleep. Only Tanjiro Zaoman has already mastered the way to get rid of his dreams. So, after repeated forced lethargy, he woke up again with his repeated self-disorders. But this time, the eyes created by nightmare are too many and too dense. Tanjiro Zaoman has just woken up since. Then the eyeballs from other angles or directions will be immediately faced with the line of sight. Lethargy. Wake. Lethargy. Wake. Tanjiro Zaoman seemed to be trapped in an infinite cycle. I can't extricate myself at all. Damn it, wake up quickly. Just at the sauna Tanjiro racked his brains to think. How can we get rid of the current dilemma? A big hand suddenly grabbed his hand that wanted to be self-indulgent again. Idiot, you can see it clearly. For me this is not a dream, it is a reality. UK Inosuke said angrily. Why are you so weak? You are actually deceived by this trap. Do you want to lose your life here in vain? Turn out to be. Yanmeng dreamed that Tanjiro of Zaoman used the self-disciplined method countless times to restore his awakening. So he played tricks with him. Chapter 286 by Luotian. Nightmare dreams are deliberately mixed with some reality in the dream. This makes Tanjiro Satsuman completely lose the standard of distinguishing reality from dreams. If it weren't for Hirai Inosuke's arrival in time. I'm afraid he's dead now. Ha 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 ha, I am wearing the hood of the owner of the mountain on my head. Because it's so scary, they don't dare to look at me in the eyes at all. While talking, 267. Inosuke Yuke took out his swords at the same time. In an instant, a large amount of blood meat tissue breeding in front of him was cut off. And Tanjiro Kaoru came to his senses at this time. Yes, it's hard for people to see where Inosuke's eyes are looking, so ghost blood technique cannot make him fall into a dream. Very good. Just cut all this guy down next and you can end it all. Jupiter Inosuke said confidently. But at this moment, changes arise. Don't prevent me from dreaming, otherwise you all will die. The flight attendant who was rescued by Tanjiro Kazuno. Going crazy. He jumped in. Take out a knife. He stabbed towards Inosuke, who was facing his back to him. Inosuke, be careful. Tanjiro Zaoman's face changed drastically. Roar. He rushed forward to use his body. He blocked the sharp blade just now for his friend. Bang. Tanjiro Kaoru waved his hand and knocked the crew unconscious. But blood had already flowed out of the abdomen. The clothes were dyed wet quickly. You were stabbed. Inosuke looked at Kaoria pulling the crewman to Tanjiro, who was standing beside him. He shouted with confusion. Why do you care about the life and death of that bastard? I am starting to agree with Yu's words that day. You are really a virgin. No, then he can't be killed. Tanjiro Zaoman said firmly. Damn it, if you don't cut off the ghost's neck quickly everyone will be unable to hold on. The chi of Viping Yi suddenly came to an end. The legs are vigorously exerted. Stepping heavily on the ground. The whole person flew into the air immediately. The two swords flew and fell in the air. Open black lens bracket beast breath, see teeth, broken blade Feifei close black lens bracket. Several slashes swung at the same time burst into countless afterimages. Fast speed. Even the almost infinitely breeding blood meat in nightmare could not keep up. Crushed meat flying everywhere. Skeleton exposed. The perfect timing comes instantly. Tanjiro, who had also jumped into the air, did not hesitate at all. He directly used the strongest power he could use at present. Dad, please bless me. 3.9. Let me use this blow to cut off the ghost bone. Open black lens bracket the god of fire god of god, 2, type, Billowocean close black lens bracket. The circular slash wrapped around the flame instantly cut off Yanmeng's neck. Boom. The entire infinite train also shaked violently. Chapter 287, Nightmare's Resentment. However, Yan Meng obviously didn't want to die peacefully like this. He actually wanted to make the final struggle. Inside the carriage, countless touches and hands instantly wrapped around the passenger who was sleeping in a sleepy state. Try to absorb their essence and blood. However, swish 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 swish. No need for Hawkeye to take action. Zoro raised his hand and fell. The cold light is like a storm. In an instant, he cut off all the touch and hands in the last car. Call. The Purgatory Akatsuro in the 5 cars in front was also powerful. Open black lens bracket fire breath close black lens bracket swept past like a whirlwind of flames. Ah 04 ah. Nightmare, whose trick failed, let out a hysterical howl. Then the blood meat surrounding the train began to collapse and split. Rumble. The whole train eventually derailed, rolling between the fields below. Tanjiro Kaoru and Inosuke both were thrown away. After rolling on the ground for dozens of times. Then he barely stopped. Fortunately, the carriage is full of blood meat breeding from nightmare dreams. Plays a buffering role. The more than 200 passengers inside escaped by chance. And the sacrificial Tannen, which was stabbed in the abdomen. At this moment, there was no power to move. It seems that it's going to be dawn, I need to adjust my breathing. I hope everyone can rescue the injured person as soon as possible. This time, thanks to Mr. Purgatory, otherwise, with our strength, we would not be able to deal with such a powerful ghost. It's really hard to imagine that such a strong ghost is actually just the slower string in the 12 ghost moons. It seems that in the days to come, I must continue to train harder. Even if I can't catch up with that man, I have to become stronger. Yiyu's figure gradually appeared in Tanjiro Zaoman's mind. Although he is I don't like this man's cold-bloodedness. But I have to admit it. This handsome guy. Really strong. So powerful that even Pillar is probably not his opponent. Tanjiro Zaoman dared not expect that he could reach the level of Yiyu. But the current strength. But it is not enough to fight against the wind string in 12 Ghost Moon. Not to mention that Ghost King Ghost Dance is tragic. If you can't defeat Guiwu, you can't. What is he going to use to save his sister Nezuko? However 267 N. Just when Tanjiro Kaoru secretly decided in his heart that he wanted to become stronger. Under the collapsed carriage. A piece of blood meat from nightmare slowly emerged. Damn it, the body has begun to collapse and there is no way to regenerate. Did I lose? Is I going to die? How could I lose to that guy? I haven't tried my best yet. Until now, even a human has not eaten. It integrates with the entire train and swallows a large number of humans at once, all of them were screwed up by this bastard. Chapter 288 All kinds of accidents. In the end, I became like this ghost. I spent so much effort and time on this day, it was that guy. The figure of Yan Pillar Purgatory Apricot Root suddenly appeared in Yanmeng's head. And the figures of Hawkeye and Zoro. It was just caused by those 3 hateful guys. I clearly have more than 200 hostages in my hands, but I have been suppressed by the appearance of the 3 of them. Damn it, are all 3 people pillars. And that boy who is as fast as lightning, has not completely eliminated his sleeping technique yet, so why can he keep attacking? There is that girl. Isn't she also Ghost? What's going on? Why are there Ghost who cooperated with Ghost Hunter? Why didn't she be killed by Lord Wusun? Damn it, damn it, damn it. After all, it was all because that little devil took the lead in cracking my technique, which made me start to be in trouble. It's all that little devil's fault. No matter what, it's fine if you only kill that little devil. By the way, there is that boar. If it were only this little devil, I would have killed him long ago. It was all the blame for that boar coming to interfere with me. His intuition is really keen, and his vision is a little too sensitive. Am I going to lose? Am I going to die? This is a nightmare, it must be a nightmare. Nightmare let out a wailing sound in his heart. But his body. But it is rapidly disintegrating. The ones killed by Ghost Hunter have always been the waste at the bottom. Winding, for the past 100 years, they have been those familiar faces ghosts. Even the countless pillars that were killed in the Ghost Hunter were not the opponent of Winding. Did the strength of Winding come from a different dimension? I have clearly assigned so much blood, but I am still far from the strength of winning. I really want to start over, I really want to start over. The old saying is often said. People are about to die. His words are good. But a despicable guy like Nightmare. But it doesn't match this. Before death. What he was thinking about was not a kind of repentance. Instead, I kept resenting and hungry. He resented the strength of Yellow Pillar, Purgatory Akatsuro, Hawkeye and Zoro, Wang Zhao. I hate my wife, Shang Yi, who can still attack freely in my dreams. Resenting Nezuko is obviously a ghost. But come to help humans make trouble. Resenting the keen and extremely sensitive feeling of Inosuke. And what made him most unhappy? It is also the culprit who directly led to his failure in this operation. It was the Tanjiro Takagi who was the first to see through his virus technique. Chapter 289, Shocking Change, the Winding String appears. Nightmare is completely incomprehensible. Why did I obviously eat so much blood? But it still cannot reach the height of Winding. It really wants to do it again. But the reality is cruel. Nightmare has no chance to do it again. His blood meat eventually completely dissipated. It seems like it has never appeared. After the battle is over. Passengers in the carriage walked out one after another. It seems that you have learned full collection katakana middle dot Changjong, I admire it. Purgatory Atsuru took the lead in front of Tanjiro Kaoru. I nodded in praise. Mr. Purgatory .267 inches. Tanjiro Zaoman discovered it only then. It was not just Yenju that came to him alone. The two swordsmen who cut off the two ponytails before. He actually followed him and walked over. Only. It's obvious. Hawkeye and Zoro are not for him. The sharp eyes of the two. At this moment, I was staring at the dark forest side. It seemed as if I had noticed something in that darkness. Learning to be a column is the first step to becoming a column, and before becoming a column you may have 10,000 steps to go. Atsuro Purgatory in a good mood didn't notice anything. Instead, he started to tease Tanjiro Seigo. Two will definitely keep working hard. Your abdomen is bleeding a lot. Now you need to focus more, improve the accuracy of your breathing, and focus on implementing your breathing to every corner of your body. Purgatory Atsushiro glanced at the injuries on the other party. He reminded him with concern. Don't forget the blood vessels, repair the broken blood vessels, strengthen concentration, so that the effect of stopping bleeding can be achieved. Under the guidance of Purgatory Atsuru. Tanjiro, who fell to the ground and could not move at all. Aedj, it actually managed to stop the blood flow from the wound. The blood has stopped smoothly. As long as you are proficient in breathing method, you can do things that ordinary people cannot do. Although it's not something that can be done, it will indeed make you stronger than the one I was yesterday. Oh, by the way, everyone is safe. Purgatory Apricot Pseudo suddenly changed his mind and said. Although many injured people, they are not in danger of life. In addition to your courage, this time, thanks to the help of the two swordsmen sent by Mr. Yu. Boy from the stove, you don't have to show off anymore, just have a good rest. However. Just as the two were talking. Zoro, who had been standing not far away, suddenly spoke. A decent enemy finally came. Almost the moment he finished speaking. Boom. The ground in the entire area trembled. Along with a huge explosion. And together with the roar and smoke. There is another figure. 3 of the upper strings, Akaba in 12 Ghost Moons. Chapter 290 is Yenju not his opponent. Quote. At this moment, even the face of Yan Pillar Purgatory Atsushiro's face changed drastically. He looked at Hawkeye and Zoro in front of him with disbelief. These two people. He actually noticed Akaza's journey early before him. Such a keen insight. It's too strong, isn't it? Tanjiro Kawaman, who was lying on the ground, was stunned by the sudden scene in front of him. Looking at Akaza falling from the sky opposite. The voice trembled and murmured to himself. Open black lens bracket. The three of the winding strings close black lens bracket. Why does it appear here at this time? However, his voice had just fallen. I heard a roar sound from the opposite side again. Akaza actually took the lead without saying a word. It looks like lightning. In an instant, he rushed to Tanjiro Kaoru. He smashed his punches head-on. Obviously, he is preparing to kill Wei Wu, the clear goal. Open black lens bracket. Yan breathing 2 type. Just when Purgatory Atsuru instantly drew his sword to interrupt the opponent's attack. But there was a man who moved 1 step faster than his movements. Open black lens bracket. Yi Dao Lu Katakana middle dot Mog Wei close black lens bracket. Swish. A clear cold light flashed by. Akaza's arm smashed was cut off from it in an instant. If not in the line of life and death. Akaza gave up her entire arm directly. The body quickly retreated. Thus, he avoided the attack in a dangerous manner. I'm afraid he's all. They will be cut into 2 pieces by Zoro's attack just now. What a great sword technique, and it seems that it is not breathing method at all. Purgatory Ainshiro looked at Zoro with disbelief. This is how I truly realized that. The power of the young swordsman in front of him. It was just his feeling before. But now it seems that he felt nothing wrong at all. These 2 swordsmen sent by Yi Yu all have combat powers that are flush with pillar. Even the man carrying a huge black knife. I'm afraid my strength is still above the pillar. Maybe. This time, Guiwusen can really end the Ghost Wusen. But the battle is now. It's better to leave it to Ghost Killing Team. After all, Purgatory Apricot Shoro doesn't want to be underestimated by Yi Yu's subordinates. Mr. Zoro, please leave this ghost to me for processing. Zoro turned his head to look at Purgatory Ainshiro with an unhappy look. Frown and said, I've been waiting for this opponent for a long time. How could I give it to you? This battle started because of Art Demon Slayer. I want to avenge my companions who died before. Purgatory Apricot said with a straightforward face. Forget it, let him take action first. At this moment, Hawkeye, who had been silent before, suddenly spoke. Although his strength is okay, he should not be the opponent of the ghost. On the other side you still have a chance later. Nani. Open black lens bracket pillar close black lens bracket can't beat this ghost. Chapter 291 Hawkeye and Zoro been ignored. This statement comes out. Whether it is Purgatory Akatsuro himself. Even Tanjiro Kaoru was staring at the same time in shock. Incredible. That man actually said that the pillar of the Ghost Slayer cannot beat that ghost. Zoro didn't say much. Put away that rider knife and retreated. And Akaza opposite had already recovered from his wounds at this time. It's really an amazing blow. A look of appreciation appeared in his eyes. But in the end, Akaza turned her gaze to Purgatory Atsuro on the other side. Although he could detect that Zoro was very strong. But what Zoro practiced was not breathing method. So under the perception of his vampire technique, destruction kill, Luo needle. The fighting aura on his body is not as much as the Purgatory Apricot. It can even be said to be almost nothing. Such an enemy naturally cannot be of interest to Akaza, who is very aggressive. He regenerated very quickly and repaired almost instantly. And this powerful sense of oppression and strong ghost energy, is this the strength of winding? Purgatory Atsushiro had calmly looked at the enemy opposite him. After a moment of contemplation, he asked with confusion. I can't understand why are you the first to attack the injured person? That's certainly because I think that kid will get in the way of talking to you, that's all. Akazo said casually with indifferent face. I am the pillar of the Ghost Kill Team, you are the winding in the 12 Ghost Moons. There seems to be nothing to say between us, right? The doubt on Purgatory Apricot's face became even stronger. The powerful winding suddenly appeared in front of me. Regardless of personality. Still strength. It's all so unpredictable. Although it was our first time meeting, I felt extremely annoying from the moment I saw you. Purgatory Apricot Shoro raised his face. It added truthfully. Is this really the case? Akazo was not angry when he heard this. Ignore Hawkeye and Zoro on the side. Looking at the purgatory Atsuro, who was alert to the opposite side with a knife. The answer to the question was irresponsible and said with a big laugh. I also hate those weak humans the most. As long as I see useless people I feel disgusting. It seems you and I have completely different standards for judging the value of things. Purgatory Atsushiro Yu did not hide the disgust in his eyes at all. He shook his head with a firm tone and said. So I have nothing to talk to you. Don't be so anxious to deny it. 3.9. Akaza doesn't seem to be in a hurry to take action. Instead, he spread his hands slowly and said. Then I'll give you a wonderful suggestion. Do you want to choose to join us 12 ghost months and become ghosts? Of course not. Purgatory Apricot Shoro directly denied without hesitation. Chapter 292, Persuading the Zoo to be a Ghost. Joke. My Purgatory Apricot is a pillar of Ghost Kill Team. How can I be a ghost? You asked me such a question in front of Mr. Yi Yu's two subordinates. It was simply the biggest insult to me and the ghost-killing team. I can tell at a glance that power. If I guess correctly, you should be the pillar, right? Akaza still maintained her leisurely tone before. It seems that no matter when it takes action, he is sure to win. He even directly dismissed Hawkeye and Zoro, the guy who had no fight cheat detected in them. Treat it as air. He looked at the Purgatory Atsuro opposite with praise. In Akaza's vision, the other party was rising with a powerful fighting cheat like a flame. This is exactly where Purgatory Atsuru attracted him. Your fighting cheat should have been so displayed after being tempered and approached the highest realm. This time, Purgatory Apricot Suzuro did not deny his statement. Instead, I directly report my own tricks. I am the Yenju among the 9 pillars of the ghost-killing team. The name is Purgatory Akijiro. I am Akaza. Akaza opposite seemed to have not seen the murderous intent in the eyes of Purgatory Akatsuro. He continued to say that no one paid attention to him at all. The previous topic. Xingqiulang, let me tell you why your realm is always inferior to such a short step, so that you cannot step into the highest realm. The answer is actually very simple. It's just because you're a human being, because you'll grow old and die because of it. So, Ankshoro, come on, become ghost. In this case, no matter whether it is 100 years or 200 years, if you can maintain such continuous exercise, you will be able to become stronger all the time. I have to say, what Akaza said is really tempting. The word, longevity. No matter what world people are. All it has a lot of attractiveness. Even after hearing Akazo's words, Hawkeye and Zoro. My heart couldn't help but tremble slightly. Only. In their opinion. Akaza's words are not exactly right. Because the great Emperor Yi Yu, they are loyal too. That's an exception. And. Even when Akaza's firepower is fully turned on. It may not be possible to beat Hawkeye. In addition to having a long lifespan. Whether it is an ordinary ghost. It is also the famous 12 ghost moons. In the face of the high-end combat power of Pirate World. They are obviously so pale and powerless. And the reason why Hawkeye is willing to be this pioneer. On the one hand, Yi Yu directly issued a transfer order. On the other hand, he heard from Yi Yu. In the 12 ghost moons of Guiwu Wusen, there is a powerful swordsman. Chapter 293 Hawkeye's real goal, Black Death Eye. That is the one of the winding strings Black Death Eyes, ranked first in the 12 ghost moons. It is said that he has unparalleled sword skills. It is something that no one pillar can match alone. This aroused Hawkeye's sense of fighting. So, he is Hawkeye's real opponent and target. As for Akaza, how could this happen among the ghosts I have encountered so far? His smell is almost the closest to Ghost Dance. I have to rush over here, only support Mr. Purgatory. Quote. Tanjiro Kawaman, who was lying on the ground, struggled and wanted to stand up again. Only. The stinging pain on the body and the previous position of his abdomen were hindering his movements. Aging and aging, death in all directions, these are all beautiful processes that only humans have short-lived life creatures. Purgatory Atsuro retorted firmly. It is precisely because people will grow old and because people will die that people will be so cute and so noble. The so-called power in your mouth is not an adjective that can only be used on meat bodies. Also, humans are not weak, and there are many powerful people that even you ghosts cannot imagine exist in this world. And the boy next to me is not weak either. Two, don't allow you to insult humans and him. It doesn't matter how many times I say it, it's completely different. The value standards between you and me are completely different. So, no matter how many reasons and excuses you can say, I will never be a ghost. This time, Purgatory Atsuro refused firmly. It seems that it really annoyed Akaza opposite. Yeah. Akazu's eyes narrowed slightly. The pupils were filled with murderous intent. Even if such an agreement cannot be reached, then the only way is to start a war directly. Open black lens bracket stage expand, destruction kill, Luo needle close black lens bracket. Akazo raised his right arm. A 12-corner snowflake array suddenly appeared under my feet. Although this move looks pretty ordinary, but it is the core of Akaza's virus technique. Once successfully launched, you can perceive your opponent's fighting chi like a compass, and make your own attacks and avoidance actions become as precise as being attracted by a magnet. It can even reach a near-perfect state. And this vampire technique is hungry when it is activated. 12 corners of snowflake formation will appear under Akaza's feet. Luang Jiao, he called it technical expansion. But few people know the source of this 12-cornered snowflake array. In fact, it is Akaza's fiancée's headdress, Love Snow, during her lifetime. The purpose and efficacy of destruction killing katakana middle.ro needle are also very eye-catching. As long as the opponent's fighting spirit is stronger, the reaction of Lujun becomes stronger. At the same time, the higher the corresponding intensity and accuracy will be. Chapter 294 Destruction and Killing and Chaos. Only. This move by Akazo. It's not without its shortcomings. That is if Akaza faces the enemy. There is no fighting chi. Or deliberately hide the opponent who, fighting chi, for example, using transparent world. Then, Luo needle cannot perceive it. Since you don't want to be a ghost so much then you'll die. Almost as the words fell, Akaza's figure rushed out like a cannonball. In the blink of an eye, he came to Purgatory Atsuro. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. Fist and sword collision. As fast as lightning. The two of them had already escaped the limits that Tanjiro meat eyes could capture. In his vision, only two streams of light were left flickering and colliding constantly. But for Hawkeye and Zoro, who have seeing and sex domineering, the battle between the two of them. That's all. That's right. It's just a level, that's right. So far among the pillars I have killed, there is no existence as the flame pillar yet. And it seems that no one has ever nodded and agreed to my invitation. But why is this? Quote, I am also pursuing the highest level of martial arts. I am really a little incomprehensible. Only those who are selected can become talented ghost. I am so sad that I can't tolerate it when I look at people with perfect talents, who are ugly and have an aging. Purgatory Atsuro, you should die while you are still young and strong. Akaza attacked wildly. While fighting, he kept complaining and disturbing the Purgatory Atsuro opposite. Only. The Purgatory Akatsuro, who had a firm mind, was not affected at all. Hard as like a rock. The knife is firm. The knife fell while the hand was raised. He had already cut off the fist that Akazo had smashed towards him. But Akaza, who has super recovery ability, recovered from his injuries in an instant. He jumped high into the air. Open black lens bracket destruction and killing katakana middle dot random close black lens bracket. The high-speed fist energy swung from the air as solid as it is. It bombarded heavily on the sword of Purgatory Akatsuro. Powerful, strange power. He even pushed his figure backwards. And above the ground, Leave 2 lines of deep ravines. That ghost is really interesting. Zoro's eyes were full of fighting spirit. Looking at Akazo, who kept waving his attack in the air. Obviously, I was almost unable to control my urge to take action. Someone can actually practice fist energy to the same level as sword energy. It's really a bit rare. Don't underestimate the enemy. Hawkeye reminded her expressionlessly. But in my heart. But he was also slightly amazed by Akaza's virus technique. Is that the ability to shorten the attack distance instantly. Chapter 295, Ghost Pillar Fight. On the battlefield. I see. Open black lens bracket Yan's breathing, cis shape, snail of the flames close black lens bracket. Purgatory Atsuru came back to his senses from the shock. The blade immediately turned around. A whirlpool-like flame waving in front of oneself. Used to resist the opponent's fierce attack. As long as he swung his fist into the air, he could attack me directly. In addition to his extreme speed that was a little faster than in an instant, it was simply unpredictable. If I keep fighting him at such a distance, it would probably be very difficult to successfully cut his neck. Purgatory Atsuru attacked while blocking the attack. I have already started thinking about strategies for how to deal with it. And after a few rounds. Although neither side was able to get out of the attack just now. Take advantage of the little bit. But if Akaza has always grasped the rhythm of the battle by keeping a distance. Then the melee of Purgatory Apricot Shoro. You may fall into a vicious cycle of exhaustion. Thinking about this. Purgatory Apricot Suzuro's body turned into a ball of flame. Almost in a flash. Then he directly narrowed the distance between the two. Appeared in front of Akaza, who had not yet come back to her senses. Swish. A quick blow swept out directly. But under the perception of destruction killing katakana middle.ro needle. Even if Akaza's own consciousness could not react. The body can also react the most quickly under the influence of virus technique. His head tilted back slightly. After Akazo successfully avoided the attack. A loud laugh with a face full of praise. It's really a perfect reaction speed. Such superb swordsmanship is gradually disappearing from this world. Asarodent, you feel sad about this. The two fists and swords collided violently again. Flame. Blood. Two different colors kept colliding and intertwining in the air. Only. No matter what injuries Akaza suffered on her fist. But they will all recover in the blink of an eye. The difficulty can be said to be the first in Purgatory Apricot Shoro's life. But he had no intention of being discouraged or wanting to give up. The long sword in his hand kept waving. Not airtight. No matter who it is, it's the same, because as long as it's human this is completely taken for granted. Purgatory Apricot Shoro shouted sternly. At the same time, Tanjiro, the sauceman, was not far away, watching the two fight. His face was full of anxiety. He began to struggle desperately to stand up. Bang! Zoro stepped directly behind Tanjiro Sato. Put the latter straight up. Step back on the ground. Bastard, what are you going to do? Although Tanjiro Kaoru has no strength. But the view is not false at all. He turned his head and looked at Zoro and shouted angrily. Mouth. Chapter 296 Tanjiro, who will only cause trouble. Why did you stop me from helping Mr. Purgatory? Don't you dare to take action and don't allow me to help him. Facing the questioning of Tanjiro Sago. Zoro was not angry. Instead, he stared at the other person under his feet with a look of a weak cock. Samersile's sly road. Just relying on your strength, apart from dying, you will only cause trouble for that guy, 2, 6, and 7, for nothing. At your current level that's not a battle you can reach. Hateful. Tanjiro Zaoman's face was immediately angry and turned into pig liver. He was a little angry. Try your best to struggle to stand up. But he suddenly heard the voice of Purgatory Atsuru, who was fighting on the other side. He was right. Don't move the stove door boy. Even if you go to such a battle with the pig-head boy, you will not be able to help. What's more, if the wound cracks again, it will directly turn into a fatal injury. Just stand by. Who can imagine it? In such a fierce and dangerous battle, Purgatory Apricot Tsuru was still caring about the life and death of Tanjiro, a nameless person. It is in danger of being seriously injured. Open your mouth to stop Tanjiro Kaoru's idiot behavior. Only. The situation is critical now. Purgatory Apricot Shoro didn't care about taking care of Tanjiro's emotions. Don't worry about that weak guy Akatsuro. While Akazo launches a fierce attack, some dissatisfaction said, "Hurry out all your strength. If you don't concentrate on fighting with me, I will kill everyone on this train." Bang! Facing Akaza's despicable threat, Purgatory Atsuro showed his attitude with a powerful blow. Akaza's figure flew backwards in an instant. He smashed heavily into the dark forest behind. Swish! Purgatory Apricot Pseudo suddenly entered zero. But it's not close yet. However, Akaza's figure had already flew over from the depths of the darkness. The movement is really agile. Bang! As the words fell, Akazo kicked in the sky. He kicked the unexpectedly caught infernal Atsuro away. Mr. Purgatory. Tanjiro, who was trampled on the ground, was shocked when he saw this. But there is nothing we can do about it. Zoro's power is too great. If it weren't for deliberately restraining a lot of strength, I'm afraid he will directly stomp his bones 3.9. But it really made Tanjiro Kaoru feel extremely shocked. And the whole body is cold. But it was the prediction that Hawkeye had recalled in his mind before the war began. Could it be? As the fire pillar, Mr. Purgatory. Is it really not the opponent of the winding on the other side? Become a ghost, Asakurong. Chapter 297 Akazo's Praise. Akaza's figure slowly walked out of the dark forest. Eyes engraved with words. Staring at the Purgatory Atsuro who was holding up with a knife on the opposite side. He said with a grin. In this way, you and I can continue to fight to improve each other's strength. You have the qualification to fight me. But he hasn't finished speaking yet. Then he was once again rejected by Purgatory Apricot Suzuro Yoshinobu. It's impossible again, I hate you quite a bit. Oh 4. Purgatory Atsuru stood up again. He said with a firm look. I will never become a ghost. Only. Hawkeye and Zoro in the distance had already noticed a significant change from him. Whether from the state, or from the frequency of breathing, Purgatory Apricot Tsuruo has begun to experience disorder. The enemy opposite. For him. It's really too powerful. Especially, virus technique, destruction kill, Luo needle. It's like a powerful man like Apricot Shoro. But this tough man. But he was not ready to give up at all. Open black lens bracket fire breathing katakana middle dot 3 type katakana middle dot event flames close black lens bracket. Blood splattered. But the wound in front of the moon hun in Ayaza will heal automatically in the next second. That's great Shingshoro, you're really amazing. A look of intoxication and enjoyment appeared on Akaza's face. The figure flashed out suddenly. Before Purgatory Atsuru scored the next slash. Appeared near him. Open black lens bracket destruction kill katakana middle dot air style close black lens bracket. Akazo's fist hit him from the air. It's so fast that it's hard to see clearly. One punch and 6 hits. Bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. Although Purgatory Apricot Shoro blocked the opponent's attack. But his figure was already blown away from afar. If you feel that you have no chance of winning I'll give this guy to me. Zoro's fighting voice suddenly came from afar. Purgatory Apricot nodded at him with respect. Then his body turned into a ball of flame. Fighting with Akaza again. It's so scary, there's no flaw at all. Even if I just took action, I couldn't get in and out. The movement is almost as good as I am not as good as 267. The speed of those two people is beyond my limit. If you take action rashly, you may die. Quote. Although I'm reluctant to admit it, the swordsman is right. I just rushed up and just helped Mr. Purgatory. Until this moment. It was only after Tanjiro Zaoman realized his smallness. The battle between the two people on the opposite side. It is impossible for a guy like him to interfere. If you forcefully get close to it, it will definitely cause distraction from Purgatory Akatsuro who is fighting. And he will definitely die. Chapter 298 The Defeated Flame Pillar. Cut. Zoro saw Tanjiro Takagiro at his feet giving up his struggle. He then withdrew his feet with disdain. Walked back to Hawkeye again. The fierce battle on the battlefield is still continuing. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. Open black lens bracket Yan's breathing, Wu's type, Yanhu close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket destruction and killing katakana middle dot random close black lens bracket. After a fierce attack, the two of them were about to part with each other. A huge wound was cut open again in front of the Moon Hun. Blood splattered everywhere. But Purgatory Apricot's forehead was already stained with blood. The seemingly even battle just now. Although the two fought back and forth, Purgatory Atsushiro did use his Hydran knife to hit Akaza's Moon Hungarian Kimber. But humans and ghosts are essentially two different creatures. Open black lens bracket ghost close black lens bracket. As long as the neck is not cut off. No matter how serious the physical injury is. All can recover in a very fast time. But people are different. Not only has great limitations in physical strength, the body cannot repair itself. This is the case with the current Yan pillar Purgatory Akatsuro. Seriously injured in the left eye. Ribs broken. The internal organs were also damaged by the vibration caused by the previous strange force. Such a crisis situation. If you have to continue fighting, I'm afraid it's really just like Akaza said. It's enough to become a ghost. What a pity, I'm going to kill you here now. Akazu said with regretful face. Although you are very strong now, you have not reached the peak of meat body. A year later, or 2 years later, your moves will be more refined, and your lethality will be greatly improved. It's a pity you no longer have a chance. Hey, Shingshoro, take out all your last strength and fight me. Don't just die like this, Atsuru. I haven't played the whole thing yet. However, in the face of Akaza's provocation and ridicule, the Purgatory Apricot, opposite, was no longer able to refute. Holding the hand of Hydroop knife, he trembled no longer. Now he can only keep using breathing method to maintain his standing posture. And the blood velocity of the internal organs in the inhibitory body. If you want to fight, I'm afraid there's only one death. Oh it's a pity. Even if you decide to sacrifice yourself to fight me, in the end everything will be in vain. Wang Zhao. Shingshoro, the superb slash you just used on me, no matter how sharp it is, for me the wound can recover as before in an instant. But look at what you are now. In order to successfully deceive the Purgatory Akatsuro, Akaza joined the ranks of Ghost. He pointed at his embarrassed look. Continue to deliberately speak and belittle it. Chapter 299 Can people never beat ghosts? The left eye was completely destroyed, the ribs were almost shattered, and even the internal organs were damaged. All these injuries were irreversible. But if you become a ghost, all these injuries will recover as before in an instant, just like I just did. Even if you are a pillar, even if those attacks use breathing, such damage is just a slight minor abrasion for ghost. Akazu spread his arms with pride. Unscrupulously laughed. Ankshoro, no matter how hard you struggle, humans 267 will never defeat ghosts. Akaza seemed to feel the breath of Purgatory Atsuru gradually weakening. He was still persuading him to become a ghost. After all, in his opinion, there is hope for life. Who would choose to face death? However, but Akaza underestimated the determination of the man in front of her. Purgatory Akatsuro has his own mission. Have your own beliefs. Make him become a ghost. Hee hee. Stop kidding. Damn it, it really seems like I'm going to help, but my hands and feet don't have any strength at all. Although all this is inseparable from the injuries on your body, but this will happen after using God of Fire God. Tanjiro Zaoman suddenly felt a lot of regret. If he still maintains his previous half-war state now, how great that would be. In that case, he can help Mr. Purgatory now. And now. But he could only watch the other party move towards death and defeat. Sudden between. Tanjiro Zaoman seemed to have thought of something. He turned his head to Hawkeye and Zoro. He shouted at the top of his lungs. Why haven't you taken action yet? Mr. Purgatory is almost unable to hold on. Aren't you Gaiyu sent to help us Ghost Kill Team kill 12 Ghost Moons? Why are you watching the show there all the time? Hurry up and take action bang. However, Tanjiro Zaoman has not finished speaking yet. Zoro's figure flashed. He raised his kick and kicked him out. Useless waste. Zoro said with disdain. I'm really a bit distorted. A cat and a dog like you dare to call that adult's name directly. If it weren't for your worth, I'd cut off your head long ago based on your remarks. Since Luffy was killed by a member of one of the 5 old stars in the War on the Top, Zoro will kill Yu of the 5 old stars. Treat it as his benefactor. In addition, his master Hawkeye also respects Yu very much. So, Zoro did not kill Tanjiro, the Kawaman who dared to call Yu's name. It is truly a blessing to him. Chapter 300 Zoro, if you have any death, come and get it. Go, he has no chance of winning. It's at this moment. The cold and arrogant voice of Hawkeye came from the side. Although Purgatory Atsushiro is actively mobilizing the strength in his body. Breathe smoothly. Prepare to use the way of burning, life. Come and fight Akaza opposite, make your last fight. But Hawkeye had already noticed it keenly. The gap between this person and the ghost. Even if Purgatory Atsushiro can fight to the death through some methods. But the final result. But it still cannot be changed. Hey, it's finally my turn. Zoro's face showed a look of excitement. Then step up. A second before the Purgatory Atsuru is about to break out. He reached out and pressed his hand on his shoulder. Stop being stubborn, you've done a good enough job. The next battle will be left to me to deal with. As the words fell, Zoro waved back. The terrifying power suddenly arose. He actually pulled the Purgatory Apricot and Suzuro directly to the rear. What a lot of strength. Purgatory Apricot showed a look of shock on his face. His power is in the entire demon-killing team. I'm afraid he's only lost to the number 1 person Wu Mingyu Xingming. But even the wretched and Xingming took action. There will definitely be no such effect. The power of this green-haired swordsman. It can be compared with Ghost. Ahem. Then please give me a message to you, Mr. Zoro. Purgatory Apricot is not strong either. He immediately spoke with gratitude. The injuries on his body were much worse than they looked. So, if Zoro can really take over him and block the opposite side of Wind String 3. No matter how you look at it, it can be said that it is a good thing. Not to mention, if you can survive, who would be willing to die on his own initiative? It's you, the swordsman, who blocked my attack before. Akaza saw Zoro pulling away the Purgatory Atsuro. An angry look suddenly appeared on his face. Although Zoro's previous attack was also amazing. But his fighting spirit was too weak. It can't even be noticed. So, in Akaza's eyes, Zoro is an absolute, weaker, who cannot even reach the level of the pillar. Of course I have no interest in fighting him. Now he saw that he would take away the Purgatory Atsuru who was fighting with him very much. It would be strange if you don't get angry. I advise you to retreat quickly. I'm not in the mood to kill you yet. Kill me. Zoro took off his turban. He said with a grin. If you want to kill me you can attack me and try it. If you can really do it I don't mind giving this life to you directly. Joke. Do you really think he was scared by Zoro? You must know. Even though he was not yet strong at the beginning, Zoro was facing the Hawkeye, world's number 1. The swordsman. They dare to put their life and death aside. What's more, this mere ghost in front of you. How dare you speak so wildly to him? It's really a shame that I don't want to live anymore, right?